I always thought I had the perfect marriage. Tom was charming, funny, and the kind of husband people envied. He could build anything, fix anything. Our home felt safe, like our own little world, but that illusion started to crack the night I heard her voice in the basement. It was late. Tom said he was working on a project, but when I went to bed, I heard muffled sounds, low voices, a woman's laughter. My stomach twisted. I crept down the stairs, each step creaking like it wanted to betray me. From the bottom step, I saw Tom's workbench, a lamp casting long shadows on the walls. The voices stopped. I held my breath, listening for any sign, but all I could hear was the hum of the old furnace. When I finally found the courage to walk over, there was nothing, just Tom's tools lined up in perfect order, like always. That's when I saw it. A single high-heeled shoe, black, scuffed at the toe, sticking out from under the workbench. Not my shoe, not my size. My heart slammed in my chest so hard I thought it might burst. I grabbed it, my fingers trembling. It was warm, like it had just been worn. I felt dizzy, like the air had been sucked out of the room. That's when I heard footsteps overhead. Tom. I panicked, shoving the shoe back and wiping the sweat from my brow. I scrambled up the stairs, my hands shaking so badly I could barely turn the knob. Tom was there at the top, smiling that same easy smile he always wore. "Hey, babe," he said. "What were you doing down there?" I tried to keep my voice calm. "Just checking for a leak," I lied. His eyes darted to the basement door. For a split second, his smile faltered, replaced by something cold, something I'd never seen before. But it was gone as quickly as it came, and he ruffled my hair like everything was fine. "Good thinking," he said, his voice sweet as honey. "Come on, let's get dinner started." But my mind was already spinning. Who was she? Why was he hiding her in our basement? And what else was he hiding from me? I had to find out, even if it destroyed everything I thought I knew about the man I loved. I couldn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that shoe, black and scuffed, tucked behind Tom's workbench like a secret waiting to be found. I kept hearing her laughter echoing through the basement, mixed with Tom's low voice. I told myself it could have been nothing, a contractor's helper, a friend from work. But deep down, I knew. The next day, I tried to act normal, but every time Tom looked at me, my stomach flipped. He was his usual charming self, making small talk about a client's new deck and a special project he was working on. I nodded and smiled, but my mind was somewhere else. When he left for work that evening, I waited a few minutes, then raced to the basement. I scanned the workbench, the toolbox, the shelves, searching for anything that might explain that woman's shoe. That's when I spotted the old metal toolbox Tom always kept locked. But today it was slightly ajar. My heart raced as I opened it. Inside was a cheap flip phone, the kind you'd buy at a gas station. I powered it on, hands trembling. The screen lit up, two new messages. "Lila, can't wait to see you tonight. She's clueless. XOXO Tom. Soon, forever." My blood went cold. Lila, a name, a face I didn't know. But the way he wrote, so casual, so sure, made me want to vomit. Forever. What the hell did that mean? I nearly dropped the phone when I heard the front door open. My heart leaped into my throat. I shoved the phone back into the toolbox, slamming it shut. My legs felt like jelly as I climbed the stairs, praying I didn't look as guilty as I felt. Tom stood in the kitchen, keys jingling in his hand. "Hey, honey," he said, grinning that disarming grin. "You okay? You look pale." I forced a smile. "Just tired," I lied, my voice barely steady. He stepped forward, brushing a strand of hair from my face. "You know I'd never let anything happen to you, right?" he said softly. I froze, my blood running cold. He'd never said anything like that before. I nodded, unable to find my voice. That night, I tossed and turned, my mind a storm. The messages replayed in my head like a broken record. Soon. Forever. The next morning, I called Jenny, my best friend since college. We met at a cafe downtown, the noise a welcome distraction from the panic bubbling inside me. "Sarah, you look like hell," Jenny said, hugging me tight. I slid the flip phone across the table. "Read the messages," I whispered. Her eyes widened as she read. "Oh my God," she breathed. "Sarah, this is serious. You need to get out of there. You need to go to the police." But I shook my head, tears welling. "No, I need proof. If I confront him now, he'll just lie. He's too good at it." Jenny leaned closer, her voice urgent. "Then get a camera, catch him in the act, show the police. That's the only way." I nodded, swallowing the lump in my throat. That night, after Tom left for another late shift, I ordered a tiny motion-activated camera online. I had to see for myself. 2 days later, the package arrived. My hands shook as I hid the camera behind a stack of paint cans, pointed at the workbench. I felt like I couldn't breathe. That night, I sat in bed, staring at the screen on my tablet, the live feed from the basement glowing in the dark. I waited, heart pounding. Hours passed. Nothing but shadows shifting in the empty basement. My eyes grew heavy, but then, movement. Tom's silhouette appeared on the screen, pacing like a caged animal. Then a woman stepped into view. Long dark hair, tight jeans, Lila. They embraced, their voices low and conspiratorial. "I can't wait much longer," she said. Tom's voice was cold, steady. "Don't worry, soon it'll be just us." "And her?" Lila asked. He smirked. "Accidents happen all the time." My blood ran cold. I felt my world collapsing around me. Tom wasn't just cheating. He was planning something far worse. Every time Tom smiled at me after that night, I felt like I was staring at a mask. Behind it, his eyes were cold and calculating, and every word that came out of his mouth felt rehearsed. I kept hearing his voice in my head. "Accidents happen all the time." I spent hours replaying that video of Tom and Lila, their whispers in the basement. It felt like a horror movie I couldn't escape, but I knew I had to keep going. Act normal, smile, cook dinner, pretend nothing had changed. Every time I looked at him, I wanted to scream. I reached out to Jenny again. We met in the back corner of a cafe, the noise of other people making it feel safer to talk. I showed her the video, the texts, everything. Her hands flew to her mouth. "Sarah," she whispered, "you need to leave him tonight. This is serious." But I shook my head. "If I leave now, he'll know I'm onto him. He might come after me. I have to catch him, Jenny. Really catch him." Jenny's eyes were shining with tears. "Please, just be careful. Promise me." I promised. But inside, I felt like I was running out of time. That night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, listening to Tom's breathing beside me. Every sound in the house made me jump. I thought about every little sign I'd missed over the years, every late night at work, every unfinished project. It all made sense now. The next morning, I made a decision. I called the local police station and asked for Detective Harris, the one the lawyer had recommended. My hands were trembling as I explained everything. The shoe, the texts, the video, Tom's voice saying those terrible words. Detective Harris listened calmly, his voice steady. "Sarah, we've seen this before. We can help you, but you need to stay strong. Act like nothing's wrong. Can you do that?" I swallowed hard. "Yes, I have to." He explained the plan. They'd wire me with a hidden microphone, and officers would be stationed nearby, listening for any sign that Tom was making his move. I nodded, even though my heart was pounding so loud I thought he could hear it over the phone. That night, Tom came home with a bouquet of flowers. White lilies, my favorite. The gesture felt like a threat instead of a gift. He kissed my forehead, his lips lingering just a little too long. You look tense, he said, studying me. Everything okay? I forced a smile. Just tired, I lied. He tilted his head, eyes narrowing for a fraction of a second. You'd tell me if something was wrong, right? I nodded, fighting the urge to run. Of course. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Good, he murmured, pressing his lips to my cheek, because soon everything's going to change. My blood turned to ice. I nodded again, but inside I was screaming. The police were out there. I just had to make it through tonight. I don't think I've ever been more terrified in my life than I was that night. Every creak in the floorboard sounded like a death knell. I could barely breathe. The microphone hidden under my shirt felt like my only lifeline, like maybe, just maybe, I wouldn't be alone in this. Tom had insisted on working in the basement after dinner. Just finishing up that project, he'd said with that too easy grin. I knew better. Every instinct in me screamed to run, but I forced myself to play the part. I smiled, kissed his cheek, and watched him disappear down those stairs. Minutes ticked by like hours. My hands shook so badly I had to hold them together. Then I heard it, the sound of his wrench on the steps. I crept to the top of the stairs and peeked down, my heart hammering in my chest. Tom was hunched over the bottom step, tightening and loosening bolts in a way that made my blood run cold. I could see the outline of the step wobbling under his weight. He was rigging it to collapse. I forced myself to breathe and whispered into the mic, "He's tampering with the stairs. Please, hurry." "Stay calm." A voice crackled softly in my ear. "We're on our way." I felt the tears well up in my eyes, but I couldn't let him see me cry. I stepped down, my voice trembling. "Tom, what are you doing?" He jerked upright, eyes wide with surprise, then quickly narrowed. "Just fixing this step, babe. Wouldn't want you to get hurt." My mouth went dry. "You mean, like an accident?" I couldn't hide the tremor in my voice. His smile turned icy. "Accidents happen all the time," he said. Before I could react, I heard footsteps behind me, boots pounding the floor. Tom's head snapped up just as two officers charged into the basement, weapons drawn. "Hands up! Step away from the stairs!" one barked. Tom's eyes darted from me to the officers, pure rage twisting his face. "Sarah, you set me up." I stared at him, my voice steady for the first time in weeks. "No, Tom, you did that yourself." He lunged at me, but the officers tackled him to the ground before he could reach me. My whole body shook as they cuffed him and read him his rights. The basement, our basement, suddenly felt like someone else's nightmare. I watched as they led him away, his head hanging low. Jenny met me at the top of the stairs, pulling me into a hug so tight I thought I'd break. "You're safe now," she whispered. Safe. The word felt foreign on my tongue, but it felt real for the first time in weeks. I knew there'd be questions, paperwork, therapy, but at least now I had a chance to rebuild my life, without Tom's lies and threats hanging over me. The secrets in the cellar were out now, and I was free.